Together we are invincible. Save the world from all wars. Save the world from breaking apart. Save us from losing our hearts. Save us from losing our souls.
morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. Sorry about my voice today. I still a little scratchy here, a little too much yelling over the weekend. I was serious in yesterday's video. If Georgia had not lost, I would not have done that video yesterday. I would have waited till today. But when you do what I do, you can't do that. Georgia loses, you got to put the video out right away. So that's what I did. But so I apologize for the scratchy voice today, but it is what it is. Major announcement right here to start the show. I've reached a decision here. I've come to a conclusion. This isn't a conclusion I've come to lightly. put a lot of thought and time into reaching this unfortunate decision. But tough decisions have to be made, which is a lesson some people never learn. And the safe bet is for pussies. Honestly, making the easy decision. Well, that's like waiting until after the game to talk a bunch of shit. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can make an easy decision. Anybody can wait till the game ends and then talk shit. Do it before the game. Make a tough decision. Let me tell you a story. In 2018, Georgia signed Justin Fields, the number 1 or the number 2 rated quarterback prospect, depending on where you looked, or depending on if you're one of these people that separates dual threat from pro style. You Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields come out that year, both from the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia never really had a chance at Trevor Lawrence. I don't blame that on Georgia. Some people do. I don't. Some kids want to go certain places for certain reasons, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about that. I don't blame UGA or anybody for Trevor Lawrence. Then you have Justin Fields. He commits to Penn State in 2017 as a junior or senior in high school, whatever it was. Jacob Eason comes out first game of 2017 and goes down. Jack Fromm comes in. Anybody with a working set of eyes that knew anything about Jack Fromm or that watched the first half of the 2017 season knew who and what, I'll even call him Jake Fromm, knew who and what Jake Fromm was. They knew what he could do. More importantly, you knew what he couldn't do. There are some things that a quarterback can improve on over time, and there's some that they can't. You knew what Fromm was. By 4 or 5 games into the season, you knew what he was, good or bad, whether you love him or hate him, whether you think he's one of the greatest QBs we ever had or whether you think he's one of the worst. You knew what he was halfway through the 2017 season. So the pressure starts to mount. You lost out on Trevor Lawrence. It's clear he's going to Clemson. Justin Fields is shooting up everybody's ratings board. He's at all these camps, blowing people away. Kirby decides to go after him. Well, I'm still not convinced Kirby's the one that made that decision. But in any case, someone made the decision that UGA needed to go after Justin Fields. So they did. They get him. He decommits from Penn State. He commits to UGA. He shows up in the spring of 2018. Goes through the spring, summer, fall. Fromm, of course, gets to start. Everyone is waiting on the switch. When's it going to happen? Justin Fields, the highest-rated player Georgia has ever signed. You can look around college football and see what types of teams are winning at the highest levels and what types of QBs they have. And I don't even mean a dual-threat QB. That's a big misconception. But you could look around college football in 2017 and know what was going on. There are coaches that knew 2, 3, 4 years before that where college football was heading. LSU, Alabama, lots of teams that had been winning for a long time with defense and a run game and an A.J. McCarron. And they looked around and they knew things were changing, and they started to move that direction. Playmaking quarterbacks. An age of offense in college football. We're in an age of offense in college football. If you don't see that, if you don't know that, if you don't understand that, then you don't understand the most basic or simple things about what's going on in college football right now. You don't. The best offense is beating the best defense right now. So we bring in Justin Fields. He is given some playing time, but not much. It was sort of a combination of sending him in the fourth quarter of blowouts. I remember, I think it was week 2 in 2018, Fields' freshman year. We were up 3 or 4 touchdowns on South Carolina in the second half. They sent Justin Fields in the fourth quarter. He threw 0 passes, not one. Not a single one. It was 20 or 25 handoffs. It pissed him off. The video surfaced later in the year of him walking off the field, and I forget what his exact comments were, but he was caught on a hot mic basically saying, well, that was pointless, something to that effect. Yeah, he played in a lot of games, Anthony, but we played South Carolina before we played Tennessee that year. Played South Carolina, I think, week 2 that year. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He played in a lot of games. Quit interrupting. Just listen to the story. That trend continued. Now, we did put Justin Fields into the game in the first half of several games that year. Sometimes one play. One play. You remember that. If you were watching Georgia that year, they would send Justin Fields in on first down. He would hand the ball off or run a quarterback draw. He would come out. Jake Fromm would go back in for second or third down. And we wouldn't see Justin Fields again for 2, 3 series, whatever. Then the same thing. They'd send him in for one play, whatever. Fourth quarter of the blowouts, he'd come in, hand the ball off. Georgia starts off 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, beating everybody we play by 30, 40 points because of the just obvious talent gap at that time between Georgia and everyone else on their schedule. Georgia could line up, run the same play 100 times, and beat almost everybody on their schedule by 30 points. And that's what they did. It's exactly what they did. They lined up. They handed the ball off to Elijah Holyfield and DeAndre Swift and whoever else, and that was it. You knew what they were going to do. You just couldn't stop it. (5-0, 6-0). I think it was 6-0. In a game at LSU. Go to LSU. Jack Fromm can't hit the broadside of a barn. One of the worst games he's ever played. The same dumb shit with Justin Fields. He comes in on some odd, random second down for no reason. It wasn't even red zone situations. You know, sometimes you have a quarterback like that. You're breaking them in. You send them in the red zone. Give the defense something else to think about with the run, whatever. It wasn't even that. Second and 8 on our own 40. Here comes Justin Fields. I wonder what he's going to do. Well, he's either going to hand it off or he's going to keep it and run. I mean, that was it. He played 3 or 4 plays, whatever it was in that game. We got blown out. Jake Fromm looked awful, just terrible, which some people were surprised by that. Some weren't. I was in the weren't category. And then we had a bye week after LSU. Coming out of the bye week, we were going to play Florida. So we had 2 weeks. And all everybody talked about during that 2-week period was, now's the time. Now's the time. This guy's been here since January. He had 8 months of practice. We're now 6, 7 weeks into the season. It's another 6 or 7 weeks of practice. He's got some game experience. Fromm was worse in 2018 overall than he was in 2017. He's just played his worst game again against the best team on our schedule in the regular season. And he didn't show up. He looked horrible. He looked terrible. And everybody said, this is it. Now they're going to make the switch. They're going to take this extra bye week. They're going to get Justin Fields prepared, and he's going to get a shot at Florida. The 2 weeks goes by, radio silence from Kirby and company. You don't hear anything. Florida game comes around, out trots Jack Fromm. Justin Fields didn't see the field in that game. Not one play. Not one single play in that game. And I knew right then he was gone. And, he played a little more in the last 5 or 6 games of the year, whatever it was, all the way through the SEC championship game, where we famously sent him out to run a fake punt for no reason. And, of course, it wasn't long after that he announced he was going to transfer. He landed at Ohio State. The rest is history there. That might be the biggest coaching and personnel blunder in modern college football history. Now, some people point to Joe Burrow at Ohio State and them not playing him and him leaving and going to LSU. And, oh, my God, look how good Joe Burrow is. And while it's true LSU won a title during that period and Ohio State didn't, it wasn't because Ohio State didn't have a game-changing playmaking quarterback. They had an overflow of them, and they used them. Now, I'm not trying to convince anybody that people like J.T. Barrett or Dwayne Haskins are future NFL Hall of Famers or anything like that, but look at the numbers they put up. Quarterback situation was not the issue at Ohio State. You never watched Ohio State play and win if we just had a quarterback. That wasn't the issue at Ohio State. So Joe Burrow was just the odd man out there, and I'm still not convinced. Not that Joe Burrow is a terrible QB or anything like that, but that was Joe Brady. A lot of that was Joe Brady. LSU fans see that now. We all told them that all offseason. They're just now realizing it, but they know that. So anyway, he leaves. When he left, that left us with Fromm and no one else. Nobody. DeJuan Mathis, who was committed to Ohio State, decommitted when Fields announced he was transferring there. And DeJuan Mathis says, well, I'll go to Georgia. He shows up at Georgia. The 2019 offseason comes around. Fromm's been the starter now for 2 years. You know he's starting in 2019. There's not even any doubt. I mean, the only people behind him at that point was DeJuan Mathis. Then we find out Kirby's bringing back Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett had enrolled at Georgia in 2017 as a walk-on with 0 Power 5 scholarship offers. Didn't play a single snap or down. No one even knew who he was. After the 2017 season, he transferred out to a junior college in Mississippi. Played 1 year at that junior college in Mississippi in 2018 where he led America in interceptions. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making it up. He led America in interceptions. Because the quarterback situation was so screwed up at UGA, Kirby picked up the phone, gave him a call, asked him to come back, told him he'd give him a scholarship. Stetson Bennett said okay. Stetson Bennett came back in the offseason of 2019. He was going to be third. It was going to be Fromm, DeJuan Mathis, and then Stetson Bennett would be the emergency third-string backup. About 3 weeks before the season started, of course, they find a cyst on DeJuan Mathis' brain. He had to have surgery, out for the year. That bumped Stetson Bennett up to number 2. Now, we still only saw Stetson Bennett last year in the fourth quarter of blowouts. We didn't send him in the second quarter and make him run the ball. We didn't play QB hokey pokey with him. You didn't see him until halfway through the fourth quarter. He would come in and hand the ball off 25 times. Game over. Fromm announces he's leaving after his junior year. Whether he was told to leave, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's gone. That leaves you with DeJuan Mathis, who's never played a college snap who remember we basically traded Justin Fields for Dwan Mathis. Dwan Mathis, you got him. He's never played a snap. You've got Carson Beck, signed as a true freshman, 4-star. And you announce you're bringing in Jamie Newman. Now, people were excited. People were happy about the Jamie Newman thing. Not really because of Jamie Newman specifically, but because of the kind of quarterback he was. Not all the Georgia fans, it's about split 50-50 in terms of who's happy with a guy like Fromm, an average pocket passer who can't move. There's about 50% of the Georgia fans who would lick his butthole right now. And then you have the other 50% who understand college football and know that you're not getting where you want to go with that. That 50% was excited about Jamie Newman. Again, not necessarily specifically because of Jamie Newman, but because of the type of quarterback he was. A guy that can move around, a guy that can make some plays. Is he elite? Was he one of the best 5 quarterbacks in America? No. But look where Georgia was coming from. Okay, it was a step up. So he was going to start. Mixed feelings about how he was going to do, but he was going to start. That would have put Dwan Mathis at the number 2 because he was cleared at this point, but he had no experience. Stetson Bennett at 3 or 4. Carson Beck at 3. Stetson Bennett at 4. And then out of the blue, I don't think anybody saw this coming. I don't think Southern Cal fans saw this coming. I don't think other SEC fans saw this coming. I keep my ear pretty close to the ground on UGA stuff. I didn't hear about this coming. Seemingly out of the blue, JT Daniels commits to Georgia. JT Daniels was a 5-star coming out of high school, one of the top rated passers that year. I think he was 3rd. Was he 3rd? I think he was 3rd. He came out the same year Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields did. Basically, Trevor Lawrence was 1, Justin Fields was 2, JT Daniels was 3. He announces he's coming to Georgia. A month or so after that, Jamie Newman opts out. Another surprise, and I don't think anybody saw coming. People said, well, it's either going to be Dwan Mathis or JT Daniels. The coaches seem to agree. No one talked about Stetson Bennett. Nobody. Not Kirby, not any of the other coaches, none of the players, none of the media, none of the fans, nobody. Stetson Bennett was never mentioned. It was, who's it going to be, Dwan Mathis or JT Daniels? Most of the Fromm bots were in the JT Daniels camp. Most of the people who were unhappy with Fromm were in the Dwan Mathis camp. Again, you didn't really know what either of them were going to do at UGA or how they would look or how good they would be or how bad they would be or anything else. You had some people, again, who are satisfied with a pocket passing QB, and you had some that wanted to go maybe a different direction. And, that's pretty much what the fans debated the last month or two of the offseason. Who's it going to be, JT Daniels or Dwan Mathis? Well, then we find out that even though JT Daniels has been practicing, he's not cleared to play. So, okay, looks like it's going to be Dwan Mathis. You couldn't really get any information out of UGA. Same answers every time. We're hoping he's cleared. Kirby was all over everywhere. Man, I hope JT Daniels gets cleared. Really want JT Daniels to be cleared. We're doing everything we can to get him cleared. He's close to being cleared. We hope he'll be ready for Arkansas. Kirby never mentioned a word about Dwan Mathis, ever. Not very many people even asked. It was all JT Daniels, JT Daniels, JT Daniels, JT Daniels, JT Daniels. JT Daniels boards the bus in Athens to the airport, flies to Arkansas. Okay, maybe he's cleared. Nope, going to be a game time decision. Oh, okay, well, Kirby's playing the shell game routine where he just doesn't want anybody to know. Well, no, he wasn't cleared. Dwan Mathis gets to start at Arkansas, and he looked bad. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no There's nothing else to say. You can try to list some reasons why he looked bad, but anything other than he looked bad is a lie. He looked bad. He looked bad. In four series. Four series. First ever start. First ever snap in college, anywhere. 4 series. 1 interception. Yanked. Gone. 4 series he was given against Arkansas, and he was yanked. And again, he did not look good. I said it during the game. I said it at halftime. I said it after the game. I said it all the next week. I'm still saying it. He didn't look good. 4 series. His first ever snaps in college football. 4 series. 1 turnover. That I'm not an X's and O's, guys. I don't get into it. To me, if there's an interception, the quarterback is to blame. I said this the other day. If a quarterback throws a touchdown pass and a wide receiver makes an amazing catch, that's still a touchdown pass for the quarterback. Okay? If you throw an interception, it's an interception. But there are people who say the receiver broke the wrong way. I don't know or care. But in any case, it was an interception, and he didn't look good besides the interception. 4 series, first ever college snaps in that game. And the guy has not been hit since his senior year in high school. He had to sit out, non-contact, all of 2018. And in 2019, you guys know how it is. The quarterbacks wear green jerseys. You're not allowed to touch them. First time he'd been hit since his senior year in high school in 2018. Four series, they yank him. Stetson Bennett comes in, runs around, completes a couple of passes. Georgia wins the game 37-10. There were still questions heading into week 2. What are we going to do? There was even questions about who was going to start. We were hosting Auburn. Stetson Bennett gets to start, plays the entire game. DeJuan Mathis didn't get in. They didn't even give him the Justin Fields courtesy snap of running him in on second down every once in a while. Nothing. Until the 4 minutes to go in the game or whatever it was when we were up 27-6 or whatever the final score ended up being against the Barn. They send him into the game. Now, I want to remind you before I go any further, at this point, you have Stetson Bennett, who played a year at JUCO. Other than that, no college experience. You've got DeJuan Mathis, 4 series against Arkansas. That's all the college experience he has. And JT Daniels had been cleared heading into the Auburn game, too. He had been cleared. He played a year at Southern Cal 2 years ago. Then blew his knee out, missed all of 2019. He's been rehabbing since then. And then you've got Carson Beck, true freshman, no college experience, 0 snaps in college. That's Georgia's quarterback situation heading into week 2. Stetson Bennett, DeJuan Mathis, JT Daniels, Carson Beck. There ain't a season's worth of experience total between the 4 of them. Not SEC experience. We get up 27-6 on Auburn. Stetson Bennett's the only QB that sees the field until 4 minutes to go in the game. We trot DeJuan Mathis out there with 4 minutes to go and order him to hand the ball off 19 times to end the game. That's insane. That's insane. Let's pretend that Stetson Bennett is the best quarterback in college football. He's 5'8" and 150 pounds. He could get bent in half on any play. It could happen at any time. You can be 6'6", 250 and get hurt. Anybody can get hurt at any time. We have no quarterback experience on the entire team. None. You send DeJuan Mathis out there after what happened in the Arkansas game. You send Mathis out week 2 and order him to hand the ball off 20 times in a row. Who is that helping? Is that helping DeJuan Mathis? Is that helping UGA? Is that helping anybody? No. No, it's not. But that's what we did. Tennessee game comes around. Week 3. By this point, everyone knew, well, here we go. Stetson Bennett, it's Stetson Bennett now. Tennessee game comes around. Good game in the first half. Blow them out in the second half. Not a single quarterback sees the field not named Stetson Bennett. That's it. Nobody. JT Daniels didn't get not one snap. DeJuan Mathis didn't get not one snap. Carson Beck didn't get not one snap. In a game we won 44 to, what was it? 44 to, what was the score of that game? 44 to 21? Whatever it was. Not a single thing done in the Auburn game or the Tennessee game to prepare anybody should Stetson Bennett go down, or should the coaches wake up and realize he's not any good and want to make a change. No, nobody, nothing. Go back to Alabama in 2018, the year Tua took over as starter in the 3rd game of the year, whatever it was. Every single game that year, or no, he started from game 1, but every single game that year, Alabama was up 40 points at halftime. They took 2 out. They put Jalen Hurts in. Jalen Hurts had over a year of starting experience in the SEC on Alabama's team. He had a ton of experience. They sent Hurts in the 3rd quarter of every one of their games and had him throwing 80-yard touchdown passes. They had him running the offense. You know what that did? That kept Jalen Hurts mentally involved all year long because he knew he was going in at some point in the game and was going to be allowed to run the real offense, was going to be allowed to play quarterback. Because of that, he practiced every day like he was the starter. So he improved over the course of the season. He got better. He got more experience. He stayed sharp. He stayed ready. He stayed prepared. And then in the SEC championship game, when Tua got hurt, Alabama had a seasoned, ready-to-go, playmaking quarterback that they pulled off the bench and came back and won that game. If Jalen Hurts had sat on the bench the entire year in 2018 and only come in the game with 3 minutes to go to hand the ball off 20 times, he would not have been as prepared to play in that 2018 SEC title game as he was. But any idiot, even this one, knows it's better to keep your backup prepared if you can. Now, not very many teams even have the opportunity to do that. Not very many teams are up so big in the second half in the majority of their games that they can even put the backup in. You know what a luxury it is to be able to do that? To actually prepare your backup quarterback that way in real-time game situations? And Kirby blew it. He blew it. He blew it. So the Tennessee game comes around and Stetson Bennett takes every snap. Carson Beck, DeJuan Mathis, and JT Daniels might as well not even made the trip. Now here you go, the toughest game of the schedule, on the road at Alabama. And that game was literally just played. So I don't need to go through it other than to say this. Stetson Bennett did not look good in this game from the time it started till the time it ended. It's not that he just had a bad second half. It's not that he had a bad third quarter. It's really not even that he played bad overall compared to anything else he's done. That's what Stetson Bennett is. Ten balls, 10, batted down at the line or deflected by linebackers in that game. He cannot throw the ball 40 yards. 40. He can't throw the ball 40 yards. I mean, he can, but he has to do the moonball thing to get it there. That's why you see Jermaine Burton sitting down, taking a nap, waiting on the ball to get there. That's why George Pickens has, 6 catches this year? George Pickens is not a possession receiver. George Pickens is a deep threat. We don't have anybody. Stetson can't throw him the ball. D'Wan Mathis got 4 series against Arkansas. He didn't look good. He committed 1 turnover. He was yanked, never to be seen or heard from again. Stetson Bennett plays the entire game bad. Turns the ball over 3 times. And again, you can tell me that some of those interceptions weren't Stetson Bennett's fault. You can tell me that if you want to. But they say the D'Wan Mathis interception wasn't his fault either. I don't personally care. D'Wan Mathis threw the interception. Stetson Bennett threw the interceptions. When you talk about QB height and somebody points out Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, that's like telling me the NBA should purposely go out and recruit 5'8" shooting guards because Spud Webb scored a couple of points for the Hawks back in the 80s and 90s. You sound stupid, and it's a ridiculous idea. And that's just the reality. That's no different than saying we should only recruit 3 stars since that's what DeAndre Baker was. That's stupid. If anybody thinks Stetson Bennett is Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, you can't be helped. So now we have an off week. Just like in 2018. And just like in 2018, we have a below average quarterback who just played the worst game he's ever played. So I'm asking, Kirby, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How many times do you need to learn the same lesson the hard way? Make the tough decision. Stetson Bennett being from South Georgia don't mean shit, Jack. He's not a Power 5 quarterback, much less an SEC level quarterback. And I've got nothing against Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is a good quarterback to have on your team as a backup. He is not a starter. He's not a starter. There's no way. There's no way that we can have the number of 5-star quarterbacks we have had, and they're all terrible. We know for a fact Two of them aren't terrible. The only one we're waiting on to find out is JT Daniels. And we probably won't find that out until he transfers somewhere else and plays, which is what is going to happen. I don't know if JT Daniels is any good. I don't. I know Stetson Bennett is not any good. There's no way that every one of these highly rated QBs that we get is terrible. It's not the quarterback's fault every time. It can't be. It can't be. What team in America has had 3 5-star quarterbacks in the last 4 seasons? Who? Name me the list of college teams that have had 3 5-star quarterbacks in the last 4 seasons. Mac Jones is a 3-star. And look at him. We can't find a playmaking quarterback. Of course we can. We have found a bunch of them. They don't play. Name them. G-Pick. Name the 3 5-star QBs that Clemson has had on their team in the last 4 years. Deshaun Watson was a 4-star. Oh, Hunter Johnson was a 5-star? I didn't know that. Now name me the team that's had 3 5-star quarterbacks over the last 4 years, and all 3 of them were terrible. So terrible that they couldn't even get on the field. Now name me those teams. Name me the teams that have had 3 5-star quarterbacks in the last 4 years, and all 3 of them are so bad that they can't even get on the field. Hunter Johnson, he's one. But no one's had 3, have they? No. But Georgia has. No, Justin Fields not terrible at all. That's the point. That's the point. Neither is Jacob Eason. And I don't know about JT Daniels. But even that, okay, forget the 5-stars. Forget them. Just pretend they didn't exist. You're telling me, out of all these 4-stars that are left over, Stetson Bennett's better than all of them? Stetson Bennett is better than highly rated 4-star Carson Beck. Stetson Bennett is better than highly rated 4-star. I mean, you're talking about quarterbacks. Every team in America wanted these guys. Everyone. Everybody wanted Dwan Mathis. Everybody wanted Carson Beck. Everybody wanted JT Daniels. Nobody wanted Stetson Bennett. That's the best we can do. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. So, if we take the next 2 weeks and we do the same thing we did in 2018, and the season ends the same way, I'm done with Kirby. You can't keep giving people the same opportunities over and over and over again, allowing them to make the wrong decision every single time and continue to make excuses for it. You can't. You can't. Kirby's an amazing recruiter. He's an amazing defensive mind. There's no excuse for the quarterback situation at Georgia. There's no excuse that Georgia should be trotting out a 3-star walk-on on the road against Alabama in week 3 and it not be because of injuries. You know, it's one thing if you got your quarterback situation settled and he happens to go down and maybe you don't have a backup. That's one thing. This ain't the case. Kirby cannot continue to make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over. And he can't be allowed to. The Georgia media is not going to do anything. The post-game press conferences are pathetic. It used to be Kirby Smart that pissed me off in the press conferences. Now it's these wet paper towels they roll out there to ask the questions. How can you show up at any Georgia post-game press conference and ask any question other than what in the hell is going on with the quarterback situation since you got here? What is the deal, Kirby? How can that not be the only question you ask? How can that not be the only question you ask? What is the deal? You know, these guys, you know, they roll these guys in there with these questions like, what do you think Stetson Bennett was seeing on that cross-body interception he threw? Well, he wasn't seeing anything. He's 5'7", you dumbass. He wasn't seeing shit. The only person that sees less than Stetson Bennett is these idiot reporters in the post-game press conference that lob these softballs up to Kirby like he's their dad. Ask the tough questions. Listen, the honeymoon is over. Okay? Hold this man's feet to the fire. He's making $7-something million a year. There's no excuse for the quarterback situation. Now the Big Ten starts this week. We get to all sit around and watch. Over-under number of Ohio State plays Nebraska. I don't know how good Nebraska will be. Does it really matter? I'm putting the over-under number of touchdowns from Justin Fields this Saturday at 4.5, and I'll take the over. I'll take the over. Justin Fields will be lucky to play 8 games this year because the Big Ten has no bye weeks, and we know people are going to get ate up with the Rona, so they're going to have games canceled. Justin Fields might play 8 games this year. In those 8 games, he'll have – how many more yards will Justin Fields have in those 8 games than Fromm ever had in a 15 or 14-game season that he played? 1,000? He never had more than 2,800 yards. Anybody in 8 games, let's say he plays 8 games at 400 a game, that's 3,200 yards. Sign me up for that. You've got an off week. It was gifted to you, Kirby. We're supposed to be playing Kentucky this week, then an off week, then Florida. But Florida bitched and moaned like the bitch-made pussies they are. Florida had to postpone their LSU whatever game, which rearranged their next week's game. So then Florida didn't have a bye week before the Georgia game, and Georgia did have a bye week, and that's not fair. So instead of playing Kentucky this week, the SEC office moved our game to next week so that we have the same bye weeks, whatever, you know, so whatever. It ended up being good. You've got 2 weeks, Kirby. You've got 2 weeks. If you trot Stetson Bennett out on that field to start the game against Kentucky, then that means one of 2 things. Either Kirby has recruited and signed not 1, not 2, but 3 terrible 4- and 5-star quarterbacks on the current roster. That's what that means. I'm assuming you're going to trot the best player out on the field at every position. That's the assumption I make. Am I wrong? Should the best player not play? If Stetson Bennett takes the field against Kentucky, then you're telling me, Kirby, that you have recruited not 1, not 2, but 3 terrible 4- and 5-star quarterbacks on the current roster. So even if all 3 of those QBs, JT Daniels, Carson Beck, and DeJuan Mathis, those are 3 QBs you picked, Kirby. You picked those QBs. So even if all 3 of them are terrible, which I refuse to believe, even if all 3 of them are terrible, that's still on you, sir. That's on you. You signed them. Okay? You signed them. If they're not all three terrible, then quit sucking the South Georgia dick, get Fromm and Stetson Bennett out of your mouth, and play a real quarterback. And quit watching them go somewhere else and play. And I'm not fucking around. Ask Mark Rick if I'm fucking around. I got his ass 86th in a hurry. And you ain't untouchable. Kirby. Get the shit together. Learn. Mistakes aren't always bad if you learn from them. I tell my kids that all the time. You're going to screw up. You're going to make a mistake. Get up, learn from it, and don't do it again. You got 2 weeks. Now cry about this in the comments section. Cry. Who wants to cry? Just let me get a crying emoji in the comments section. For those of you that have a problem with this. You want to know what I have a problem with? This. Here's what I have a problem with. The hell is this? And I've been saying this for 3 weeks. If you're going to rank the Big Ten, then do it the right way. It's not right to punish the Big Ten because they haven't played yet. Ohio State would beat this team right here and this team right here by 30 points. The only reasonable place to have Ohio State, if you're going to rank them, is third. You can't put them first or second. We know how good for sure Clemson and Alabama are. We're not guessing. You have to guess on Ohio State, just like you have to guess about every preseason or week 1 poll when you haven't seen the teams play yet. You have to guess. I'm guessing. A wild guess, I know. I'm guessing Ohio State is pretty good. But yeah, cry about this, though. Brandon Pratt, thank you for the super chat. Says, Lou, you should invite Kirby on the live show. No. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat. He says, Miami managed a 6-6 season with 3 4-star QBs last year. You bring up an interesting point, Slim, and I'm not saying this to pick on Miami, but I would be curious to know who was the last 5-star quarterback Miami has had. How many coaches back do I have to go to find one? Kirby's had 3 5-star QBs and hasn't refused to play any of them. Ballard's coming on the show this morning, so let's get him on. Definition 49 says, Lou, hope you're doing well. Thank you, sir. You too. Tiny Tonto says, when you realize Arkansas is 3-1. Well, they should be 3-1. I agree with you there. They should be 3-1. Who did I lose a bet to in the Alabama game? Bama Mike, I think I lost a bet with you. Who did I make the bet with on, I actually won one bet on the game, but who was, I had an interception bet with somebody. Are you, whoever that was, are you in here? I had an interception bet with somebody who would throw more interceptions, and I clearly lost that bet. I can't remember who that bet was with. But email me. I need your, whoever you are, I need your PayPal. So email me. And Bama Mike, you email me too. You want a Bama? Wasn't it you, Bama Mike? I think I saw you in here earlier. I don't know if you're still in here. I think we had a helmet bet. Anyway, just email me. Let me know what mini helmet you want, and I'll send, and your address, of course, and I'll send it to you. Kentucky Productions. Thank you for the super chat. He says, you think UJ will dominate Kentucky? Yes, of course they will. Is there anybody that doesn't think they will? Is there anybody alive that, other than a Kentucky fan? Let me see how stupid people are. Type 1 in the comment section if you think Georgia's going to lose or struggle with Kentucky. Just give me a 1. Whether you think we're gonna, do you think we're gonna lose or even struggle to win by 7 or less? Then give me a 1. I want to see how. I want to see where the stupid people are. Okay, 2 stupid people. 3, 4, 5. A lot more stupid people than I thought. Now, Kentucky fans aren't stupid for thinking that. That's what Kentucky fans are supposed to think. Everyone else who typed 1 is stupid. Everyone else who typed 1 is stupid. Listen, I came on Saturday after the game and yesterday into your season is over video and did what I was supposed to do about losing to Alabama. Congratulate them, their fans. They dominated us, talked about how great the offense, blah, blah, all that. The reality is Georgia turned the ball over 3 times, lost by 3 scores. Bama scored touchdowns on all 3 turnovers they got. That's the reality. So you can figure out what I mean by that, but it is what it is. Slim Shady says Kyle Wright was the last 5-star in 2005, I believe. So to see, it's very hard. First of all, it's hard to get any 5-star. Okay, there's only 32 5-stars a year. 32. That's it. That's it. Out of the hundreds of thousands of high school players in this country, there are 32 5-stars a year. How many of those are QBs? 2, 3 sometimes, whatever. It's very hard to get a 5-star quarterback. Kirby's had 3 on his roster in the last 4 years. 17, we had Jacob Eason. 18, he had Justin Fields. 19, okay, no, he had no 5-stars in 19 because he ran both of them off. And then now 20, JT Daniels. How many of the 32 5-stars end up being good? Almost all of them, sir. Something like 95% of 5-stars get drafted. Exactly, C9. HJB96X, thank you for the super chat. He says, good morning, Uncle Lou. Any Big Ten games intrigue you this weekend? Think anyone has anything for the Ohio State, considering no fans this year? All the Big Ten games intrigue me this weekend, just, because it's our first chance to see them. So I'm excited about the entire slate of Big Ten games this weekend. The Ohio State-Nebraska game, how good is Ohio State? Everyone knows they're good. How good are they going to be? And Nebraska, year 3 under Scott Frost, can they move forward at all? They seem to, not much improvement at all, and maybe even a little bit of regression year 1 to year 2 under Scott Frost. Is this the year Nebraska looks like a decent team? So that's an interesting game to watch. I want to see Penn State. They lost some key players some key players opted out. They're probably still a top 10 team. That was the best competition for Ohio State, I think, in the Big Ten was Penn State. So to that part of your question, can anybody give them a game? Ohio State's got to play at Penn State. Yeah, no fans or limited fans or whatever. We'll see. But I think that's the second best team in the Big Ten. Well, at least it was. We'll see how much of an effect those opt-outs have. Minnesota, I think, will be good again. They have 18 starters returning from their team last year that won 10 or 11 games. Wisconsin's always good, right? I mean, you can, in a normal year where you play 12 games, Wisconsin's going to win 10 in their sleep. And we'll see who else can sort of emerge out of the Big Ten. Michigan State's got Mel Tucker as head coach now. Now, I don't expect him to do all that much this year, but that's something interesting to watch to me. Former Georgia assistant there, former DC, Mel Tucker, gets an opportunity there at Michigan State. Anthony Tillery, thank you for the super chat. Says, quick question, Lou. Was Kirby Smart a good player at the University of Georgia? Well, I mean, he started. He was good enough to start. He was a better defensive back than Nick Saban was in college. But, again, that doesn't have anything to do with head coaching ability. Was he great? No. But he was good enough to start at a Power 5 team. I mean, how many people can say that? Not many. But he was okay. I mean, he had a bunch of interceptions. He was an above average player. Jared Guyton, thank you for the super chat. He says, Mister, this is not 2017 or 2018. You got shut out in the second half. Sir, we always get shut out in the second. Oh, my God, sir. Have you watched any Georgia-Alabama games? This might be the dumbest comment in history. This isn't 2017 or 2018 because you got shut out in the second half. Sir, in the last 3 games against Alabama, we averaged 6 points in the second half. Have you literally been asleep since 2016? My God. It's one thing to be a bandwagon since 2009. You must be a bandwagon since Saturday night. This is not 2017 or 18. You got shut out in the second half. We always get shut out in the second half against you. My God, man. 2017, we were beating you at halftime. We couldn't score in the second half and we lost. 2018, we were beating you at halftime. We couldn't score in the second half and we lost. 2020, we were beating you at halftime. We couldn't score in the second half and we lost. It literally is 2017 and 2018, you nitwit. My God, man. My God. You have to be hooked up to a breathing machine. There's no way somebody that... I'm going to have to assume you just... I'm sorry, sir. I know I joke about the Alabama fans and the bandwagon and all that. You have to be a fan since Saturday, and that's it. There's no way you can be an Alabama fan in 2017 and 2018, then watch the game on Saturday, and then say, that was nothing like 17. It was literally exactly like 17 and 18. My God. This is pretty bad. It's pretty bad when you got to get Ballard on the phone because you need an Alabama fan that makes sense, because Ballard rarely makes any sense at all. Let's see if he still thinks Dylan Moses is the best linebacker in America. Do I even have his number? Oh, yeah. BVD texted it to me. Oh, BVD is not on the show this morning, by the way. He had a doctor's appointment. I was supposed to mention that at the top of the show, but I got so wound up in my little rant thing, I forgot to tell y'all. But he had a doctor's appointment this morning, but he'll be on tomorrow. And he said here's what he said. I have a follow-up appointment with my surgeon at 9:30 on Monday morning, so I'm going to miss the show. Feel free to tell people that's where I am, and I'll be back Tuesday morning to eat my Kentucky Crow. So that's what he said. Let's call this thing called Ballard. Ballard Sports Media.
Hey, what's going on, Lou?
Can I speak to Mr. Media?
How you doing this morning?
Is that really your last name?
What, Ballard?
No, Media.
Oh, media? No.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Is sports your middle name?
On the channel, yes.
You
In real
should,
life, no.
you should change. You should in real life. You should. I might do this actually. You know how I might actually change my middle name to sports, and then when people say you don't know anything about football, I'll say, sir, sports is my middle name. You know the expression, don't you, Ballard?
Which one?
The one I just said, where when somebody's saying that they know something, they're like, whatever is that's my middle name.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I've heard that. It's like dangerous.
Take it off speakerphone, or I'm going to have to hang up on you.
All right. Sorry about that.
You've called into this show a bunch of times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Don't call me sir.
Okay, Lou.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So what do you think about the game?
I'm going to be honest. I was kind of disappointed in the sense that now, obviously, Bama's defense stepped it up a bit. I know for you Georgia fans, you view it as from the perspective like, the offense didn't play well. For Bama fans, we look at it and we say, the defense balled out. They looked pretty great.
No, I think that's the best game Alabama's played on defense all year.
Oh yeah, so far, yes. Now, I was happy about that, but I was also disappointed because I was hoping it would be close and down to the wire like it's been the past two meetings, and I love a good thriller like that. So that's where it was disappointing.
Well, I like that when it doesn't involve my team.
Yeah.
I like those close endings when it's not my team playing. Like if I'm watching like the Miami Clemson game, I was disappointed in that.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't even – that was over.
I'm not comparing the two games. I just mean when I watch Georgia play, I like to not have to sweat in the second half.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the final score – those 14 points in the third quarter, I mean, the turnovers, those two turnovers in the third quarter, I mean, it was over.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that pretty much.
And I'm going to say this too, and listen, if people have been around here since 2017 or even before, I don't ever blame refs for a loss ever. I didn't say a word about the stuff in 2017, nothing. And I still have never said a word about it. I don't blame the refs. I don't believe that the refs are on Alabama's payroll. I don't believe there's a conspiracy in the SEC office to push Alabama to I don't believe any of that.
Right.
Here's my problem with that pass interference call on Eric Stokes in the end zone.
Okay. Yeah, that one
could have,
even for me.
You could have called that 10 other times on Eric Stokes. You could have also called it 10 times on Alabama. That was going on all game long.
Yeah.
There was a lot of throws down the sideline, in particular by both teams in man coverage. Alabama and Georgia both play that man-on-man, press-man coverage on the outside. They both play it.
Oh, yeah.
That's where Kirby learned it.
Yeah.
And there's always that hand fighting and stuff back and forth. So my issue is not that it's not that one play against Eric Stokes shouldn't have been called.
Right.
My issue is that it didn't seem consistent with the way the rest of the game was called on both sides.
Yeah. Because
on
it
both
was kind of
sides.
like that. It was like that for the defenses throughout the whole game. It wasn't just that one particular play.
Yeah.
There
was a couple that were obvious where our DB, like Waddle, would get past our DB and we would grab his jersey. Those are obvious calls that have to be made. Yeah. But the hand fighting thing and the one-on-one coverage down the sideline, I just feel like if the Eric Stokes play was pass interference, then I feel like there was several other pass interference calls on both teams that should have been made earlier in the game, because I didn't see anything on that play in the touchdown that I didn't see 10 other times throughout the game. It's like when I don't watch much baseball, but you hear the baseball players will say, we just want the umpire to be consistent. If 1 inch outside is a strike in the first inning, I want 1 inch outside to be a strike in the ninth inning. Just be consistent.
It's like, hey, he threw that kind of pitch earlier, and you called it a ball. What
Right.
the heck?
Now the same pitch is a strike. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
same idea. So I'm not blaming that on the loss. If there's any one thing to blame the loss on for Georgia, it's clearly turnovers. I mean, we had 3 turnovers. You scored touchdowns off of all 3 of those turnovers, and you beat us by 3 scores.
Yeah.
So if you're going to blame, and there's never any one thing to blame. It's always a combination of things. But so I'm not blaming the refs at all for the loss. I never do that.
Right.
But the Eric Stokes thing is hard to understand, the Eric Stokes thing, because I feel like that happened a lot of other times and it wasn't called again on both teams. And it's not like, oh, they just called it on Georgia. No, there was plenty of times we did that to y'all that they didn't call it. There was plenty of times y'all did that to us that they didn't call it.
Yeah.
It just sucked that the one time they did call it was on a 3rd down play in the end zone.
Yeah.
So instead of y'all having to kick a field goal, because that was y'all's first points of the 3rd quarter.
Right.
So, or no, y'all had scored 1 touchdown already, the 80-yard bomb to Waddle. So we were up, or y'all were up 27-24. If they don't
up
call
a couple points,
it was 27-24. So if they don't call that pass interference, y'all kick a field goal, you're up 30-24. A 1-score game. Instead, you get 1st and goal on the 2-yard line. You score. Now it's 34-24.
Right.
We come out, turn the ball over again, and the game was over at that point.
Yeah. What'd you think of? So Bama's new kicker. He was a freshman last year. He was hurt. Hey, Bama kicked a 52-yarder in this game.
Yeah,
dude.
well, that's
I
the
think
other.
We got a
yeah.
kicker back.
That's the other point where I said, okay, yeah, Georgia's not winning this game. I said, wait a minute, you're telling me Georgia missed a 30-yard field goal. Alabama
Bama's making
made a
50
52-yarder. Yeah, this just isn't our day. You know, things
was
are really going right for Alabama when they're out here making 52-yard field goals.
And it was so cool. I mean, Bama fans were going nuts over that field goal too, because it looked like it was going to miss, and then he just barely got it in there too.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I said, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work out well. I can already see they're making 52-yard field goals. This is over.
You guys miss Hot Rod right now, don't you?
No, I've been, well, I'm going to, if I live to be 100, I'm always going to miss Hot Rod. But I've been actually pleasantly surprised with our kicker. That was only his 2nd miss of the year. He's like 6 of 8 or 7 of 9, something like that. So
That's pretty good.
He's doing okay. You know, he was kind of due to miss one, so it is. I'd rather him go ahead and miss that one, you know, than maybe one down the road in a closer game. It matters, so maybe, you know, whatever. But but I mean, I thought it was a good game through, you know, 2.5 quarters. But the turnovers and some Georgia fans are upset with Georgia's play calling. I can't be upset with the play calling. I've been wanting to see us run that offense forever. And that's what we did, which was, you know, we came out and threw the ball. You know, some Georgia fans are, you know, oh, we should have ran it more, that kind of thing. And we did have success running the ball. I mean, as a team, we averaged 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Y'all averaged 3.4. So, I mean, we ran the ball better than y'all did. Now, Najee Harris was the best running back on the field. That's not debatable. Right. But I just mean, as a team, if you look at it, you know, Georgia averaged 4.8 yards per carry. Bama averaged 3.4. But here's the other thing. Alabama can strike so quick. Being down 7 or 10 points to Alabama is like being down 21 points to Georgia.
Right.
We don't have the ability to score quick enough to keep up with a quick scoring team like that if we fall behind. And so I think in the second half, you know, they made the decision we need to throw the ball. We need 3-minute scoring drives, not 6-minute scoring drives.
Yeah,
and they kind of got away from the rush a little. And again, that's not that didn't cost us the game or anything, but just mentioning some things I'm hearing from Georgia fans, like, oh, you know, we should have ran the ball more, that kind of thing. But
I kind of view Georgia as I kind of view Georgia as one of those teams, especially with Kirby Smart and how the offense is and everything. You know, it's like, if we're going to win this game, putting points on the board, we got to strike, and we got to strike quick and early in the game. So,
and it, you know, Alabama doesn't turn the ball over very often.
Right.
you get that interception there right to start the game. You have to capitalize there. You got to get points there. You've got to convert. Look at Alabama, 3 turnovers. They converted all 3 of them into touchdowns. Georgia gets the 1 turnover and punts.
Right.
You can't do that. You got to take advantage. And that was that was y'all's first. Y'all got the ball. You came right out and turned it over. That's like Georgia getting the ball to start both halves. I mean, that's a big advantage, and we squandered it. No points there. That was big. Sure would have been nice to be up 31-20 at halftime instead of 24-20. If we could have somehow scored on that first series after the interception instead of turning it right back over to you 2 plays later, and then you did go down and score. So instead of being up 7-0 early in the game, we were down 7-0. That's a 14-point swing right there in the first 3 minutes of the game. That was huge. That was huge.
Yeah, I know. I saw when Mac Jones, I don't remember if it was like the first drive. One of the first drives, right? At the beginning of the game, like you just mentioned, the interception, when Georgia picked it off, I said, oh my gosh, if it's going to be one of these games.
Well, that was the first drive. That was the first or second play of the game.
Yeah, and I said, if it's going to be like this the whole game, man, I don't know. But Bama got it going. They picked it up, and, they found a way to put points on the board against a really good defense.
Yeah, the trolls. Oh, we knew Georgia's defense was overrated. Georgia has the best defense in America. Period.
Who they played though?
The problem is, it's what I keep saying. We're in an offensive age of college football right now. Georgia had the best defense last year. LSU still scored 47 on us, or 37, or whatever it was. We had a really good defense in 2007. We had the Buckus Award winner at inside linebacker in Roquan Smith. We had a future Thorpe Award winner in DeAndre Baker on the outside. We had NFL players everywhere. Oklahoma still scored 48 points on us. Like, right now in college football, a good offense is going to succeed against an equally good defense. Alabama had the number 1 offense in America coming into this game. Georgia had the number 1 defense. Advantage, Alabama.
Yeah.
I knew that. I knew that. I thought Georgia's offense would have more of an advantage over Bama's. Georgia's offense was about 20th. Bama's defense was about 65th. I thought Georgia's offense would be able to move the ball better. I'm not surprised that Alabama got into the 30s or 40. Now, without the 3 turnovers, you probably first one to 30 would have won the game.
Right.
The 3 turnovers, you just can't do that. But so I have kind of mixed feelings. I mean, I'm upset that we lost, obviously, and the quarterback situation is a huge problem because it's not one that's going to fix itself. It's got to be fixed. Right. And unfortunately, I don't have the confidence in Kirby Smart that he'll do what he needs to do to fix it. So on one hand, I look at the score and I say, man, 41-24, that's not even close. We didn't score in the second half. That's sort of the glass half empty look at it. But then glass half full, you can say, well, if we can find a quarterback and we don't turn the ball over 3 times, maybe we still lose, but it's a much closer game. And, on the road at Alabama early in the year, not the worst loss in the world. Now, apparently the people that do the polls feel the same way. Ballard hung up on me. He got tired of hearing me talk.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
All right, Ballard, just call me back when you get situated, whatever. I'm not sure what happened, if your phone died or bad reception or what, but just call me back. Oh, there he is. Yeah, you there? Ballard. You there? Get it figured out, Ballard. So, glass half full thing, you look and you say, well, if the QB situation can improve a little and we keep from turning the ball over, maybe we would have a chance against Alabama later in the year. I don't know that that's true, but I'm just, those are the 2 different ways to look at it if you're a Georgia fan. We lost by 3 scores. We couldn't score in the second half. The offense looked bad. Can't hang on to the ball. Stetson Bennett's a trash can. That's the glass half empty thing. Glass half full, you say, well, we appear to be one player away. You know, you get a quarterback in there that can make some plays instead of making plays for the other team, and then you don't turn the ball over. You know, maybe it's a different story. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It fell up on me.
Yeah, I
So
don't either. And I tried to call you back. But anyway, point is you're here now. So,
Yeah.
But now y'all got Tennessee coming up now, though. Now,
Third Saturday,
now
Victory Cigars.
was that the most surprising outcome to you of all the games this Saturday? Not even necessarily that they lost, but 34-7. I did not see anything close to that coming with Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer than that. I thought Kentucky would be a better team, maybe more competitive. But I mean, because see, Tennessee and Kentucky, that's always a very interesting matchup. It's been close before, and when I saw that score, I said Tennessee scored 34 and only gave up 7, and this is Kentucky we're talking about. And Tennessee and Kentucky kind of fit into, like, as far as SEC teams, maybe tier 2 or 3 in that category. So I mean, kind of similar in ways.
Yeah, I would say probably tier 3. I think you have whoever the best 2 teams are every year, and sometimes that changes. But I think whoever the best 2 teams are, and then you've got the teams that are right. Like if you look at last year and you say Georgia, LSU, and then right under that you had Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and then maybe after that Tennessee, Kentucky, whoever, Texas A&M, whatever. This year, Alabama on top, and you got Georgia, Florida, whoever else. Yeah, they're a step below that, Tennessee and Kentucky. But I couldn't believe 34-7, and man,
and it was in Knoxville too.
Yeah, and Garandudu, just a terrible game from Garandudu. He 2 pick sixes. They take him out. They put the other guy in, whoever it was, Maurer or Shrout, whichever guy they put in. They put him in. He immediately throws an interception. And I was just like, oh, my God. I bet these Tennessee fans are just, they're ready to hang themselves.
And they only had, and the only touchdown came in the second quarter. So for 3 quarters, Kentucky's defense shut down the Volunteer offense.
Kentucky has something like 9 interceptions in the last 2 weeks.
Shoot.
I think they had 5 or 6 against. They had 5 or 6 interceptions against Mississippi State the week before, and then 3 against Tennessee this weekend. Crazy. Harrison Bailey finally got to play.
Yeah. We got the third Saturday game this week. That's the 3:30 game on CBS.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I know you go. I'm always looking at the spreads, see what it is. Out half. The over under 61.5.
What'd you say the spread was? You were cutting in and out.
19.5.
Yeah, give me the over. I mean, give me Bama. Bama will win that game by 3 touchdowns.
61.5 is the over under.
Yeah, I don't mess with those that much. That's Pigskin Pete's area of expertise. But I'll be taking Bama. If it's under 3 touchdowns.
Look, Tennessee, man, they're going to win a third Saturday at some point. I don't think it's going to be while Saban's there, because Saban's just figured out that program. You know what I mean? But it's a good rivalry, traditionally played every year, and I always enjoy the matchup. And Volunteer fans like BBD or whatever, they're going to watch the game, of course, and, they're just sitting there. And, I mean, it was only a 14-point game last year. Now, it might be worse than that. It's in Knoxville. I don't know. But going into this season, I at least looked at Tennessee and said they're going to be a better team, more competitive. Who knows what it's going to look like when they get to Alabama. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how close it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very close at all.
Probably not.
I don't think it's going to be very close at all.
Yeah.
I don't. Let's see. Definition 409 says, Lou, you had the interception bet with me. It wasn't about the money for me. I got what I wanted. Buy yourself a mini helmet and let me know which one you got. All right. Thank you, Definition 409. Waikiki, thank you for the super chat. He says, is the Lou Ballard Sunday morning wrap-up coming? I don't know. You got to talk to Ballard about that. Bama Mike, thank you for the super chat. He says, to my Bama fans, if UGA didn't have a midget for a QB and sail the ball over open UGA receivers, we might be having a different conversation today. Facts. I mean, I don't think Alabama is 17 or 8, whatever it was. At 17, what'd y'all beat us by? 44-21. How many? What is that?
Something like that, yeah.
28, 35, whatever. I don't think Alabama is 3 scores better than Georgia. The turnovers, I mean, that kills you. Now, you say, well, Bama forced those turnovers. Good point. Point take. I get that, too. But that game did get away from Georgia a little in the second half. Now, Bama, we played 10 times. Bama might beat us all 10 times. I don't know how many. I don't know how many of those wins would be by 17, I think is what I'm. Well, here's how I'll put it. If Georgia and Alabama were playing again this weekend, the spread would not be 17.
Right.
It might be 10. You know, it was 6 this last week. It might be 10. It might be 13. Right. I don't think it would be 17. You got to hang on to the ball, you know. But now I'm dead serious. I still believe Georgia was the better team in 17 and 18. I still believe that. Yeah. I don't believe that this year. I don't believe so I'm not just a blind homer and I say that every single time. I don't we were not better than Alabama on Saturday. Not even close. Not even close. 17 and 18, I do think we were better, and I think we got out-coached in the second half. I don't think that was the case this year. I think we got beat by a better team. Last year when we lost to South Carolina, they weren't better than we were. Georgia clearly a better team than South Carolina. We lost. Sometimes you lose because the other team is. When we lost to LSU when we lost to LSU last year, they were a better team. Clearly, of course, they were the best. So I don't always make that excuse, but I do think Georgia was a better team in 17 and 18, and we just got out-coached in the second half. But Alabama better this year for sure. Bama Boy says, "Good morning, Lou. Feel better soon." No, thank you, sir. Yeah, I feel fine. It's just my throat is all. I did a lot of yelling in here on Saturday. I did a lot of yelling. So
I'll tell you what. I know. I just mentioned like the third Saturday and everything, but how about the Big Ten back this week? Finally,
oh man,
we got a good game with Michigan going to Minnesota. That's a primetime game. ESPN has Michigan 2.5-point favorite. That I'm going to keep my eye on that game.
Where's game day at? Are they at that game?
I think I saw where they're going to Minnesota. I think I could be wrong.
Let me see.
We will see.
All right, here we go. They are going to where is it?
Minnesota.
2020. Minnesota versus Michigan. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I thought I saw something the other day. Because you know how so they were in Tuscaloosa, obviously, this past weekend. They will normally say on game day, hey, catch us next week. We're heading to this city or that city. I think they said they were going to Minnesota. So
okay, yeah.
Good.
Ohio State and Nebraska.
Give me Ohio State by a long shot, buddy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I do want to see if Nebraska's finally any good year 3 under Scott Frost, though. Let me just pull up the whole thing here. Friday night game. Illinois at Wisconsin.
Yeah. That, I mean, for a first week for the Big Ten, that should at least be interesting. I think, who's Penn State got? They got Indiana, I think, right?
I got the whole schedule pulled up here. Nebraska at Ohio State, noon on Fox. Rutgers at Michigan State, noon on Big Ten Network. Penn State at Indiana, 3:30 on FS1. Iowa at Purdue. That might be a good game. Iowa's always got a pretty good defense. Rondale Moore opted back in for Purdue.
Yes.
You know,
And
Purdue
it's
led
in
the Big
Purdue?
Ten in passing last year?
You're not kidding.
No. And they played 3 or 4 different QBs. They had a lot of injuries. They played 3 or 4 different quarterbacks. They have their starting quarterback is back. He's healed, whatever the injury was. He's back. And they got Rondale Moore. That could be a good game. I wonder what the spread is on that game. Purdue could win that game. Hard to look at how weird the first couple of weeks were when the ACC started, when the Big 12 started, SEC. There's been some, I don't know, you might see some weird things these first couple of weeks in the Big 10 now, but Purdue could win that game. Michigan at Minnesota, clearly the game of the week, primetime, like you said, 7:30 on ABC. And then Maryland at Northwestern, 7:30 on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah, Maryland. How about Tua's brother Talia playing this week?
Is he the starter?
I think he'll be good. I honestly don't know. I'll have to check in on that. But he's on the roster. But I think, if he's competing for the starting job and everything, first off, I've seen like his highlights and stuff. Obviously, we didn't see enough of him at Alabama, but he is pretty talented. He's not like his brother, but he's still pretty good, and he's got a lot of potential, I would say.
I wonder if they've announced who's starting.
Let's see.
He is eligible to play.
Yeah.
God, I just pulled up an article from 3 years ago. Maryland offered him a scholarship when he was in 8th grade.
Talia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wonder if that's why he chose. Plus,
that
Mike Lock.
And the Mike Locksley connection. Yeah.
Yeah, with Tua. Because Mike Locksley, man, he was the offensive coordinator in 2018, the same year they got blown out by Clemson. Hate to bring it up, but but yeah.
Now, this says Lance Legendra, whatever the hell, is starting quarterback for Maryland. I don't know, though. Yeah, I forgot he was there. That will be interesting. See who gets to start there. So, yeah, that's the Big Ten schedule for Saturday. And then Pac-12, they don't start till, November 7th, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2 more weeks in the Pac-12. 2 more weeks till the Pac-12 starts.
Let me ask you, did you honestly think that we would actually get, in this year of the pandemic, all Power 5 conferences in the fall?
Oh, shit. There was several times over the course of the offseason, I thought maybe we wouldn't have any at all. So, no, I can't believe we're going to get all 5. Lost Aggie, thank you for the super chat. He says, I totally agree, Lou. It's time Kirby addressed the QB situation. It's time to bring in another QB. You got to try something. Yeah. I mean, you have to. You can't keep banging your head against the same wall and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. Jared Guyton, thank you for the super chat. He says, I was born in 1999, but been a Bama fan since 2008. Well, every Bama fan's been a Bama fan since 2008. You're just one of the few ones that admits it.
Yes. Jeff Hall wanted me to share this text he just sent me. It is confirmed that he will be making his Crow video, paying up for our bet for the game on Saturday. Did you hear about this?
Well, I'm disappointed in our buddy Chess Hall. Aren't you?
Why is it? What did he do? What did I miss?
Well, he was supposed to do a 24-hour stream. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Help me get to 500 subscribers. I'm going to do a 24-hour stream.
And
So
he didn't make it 24 hours.
He hit 500 subscribers several weeks ago, but then he said, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait and do the 24-hour stream on the day of the Georgia-Alabama game," which wasn't a terrible idea. If you're going to do a 24-hour stream, Saturday's a good day to do it. In fact, you should start the stream at like 8 in the morning. That way you can stream during college game day and talk about that. Then you can, football games are on all day. That gives you something to talk about during your stream. And then all you got to do is make it overnight, and you're good to go. Well, no, that's not what Chess Hall wanted to do. Chess Hall goes ahead and starts his 24-hour stream at about 3 or 4 o'clock on Saturday. He hits go live. Well, first of all, he titles the video 24-hour stream part 1. He hits go live.
He split it up. Split it up, and he didn't even make it 24 hours.
Let me finish, sir.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
He titles the video 24-hour stream part 1. He hits go live, and then he puts a message up on the screen that says, "Taking a nap. Be up in a couple hours." So the first 2 hours, 3 hours of the stream was him sleeping. Well, then he wakes up. Everybody, of course, is giving him all kinds of hell about it. What are you doing? Why are you doing a sleep stream? It's not a 24-hour stream if you're sleeping. Plus, why are you sleeping in the middle of the day when football is on? I mean, it was just bad. So, he did the thing where he pretends to be all upset, and he said, "Fine, I'm going to delete this stream and start another one," because, he loves to delete streams. So he did. He ended the stream. He deleted it. He then started another stream called 24-hour stream part 1. Started that one around 6 o'clock.
Yep.
I think he made it till like 3 in the morning, and then he slept all night. Then he got up in the morning. People were giving him hell again. It's not a 24-hour stream if you're sleeping half the time, blah, blah, blah. So he said, "Screw it. I'm not doing it." And he ended the stream.
Yeah.
So I hate to do this to our buddy Chess Hall, but it sounds like he lied again by telling everybody, "Help me get to 500 subs and I'll do a 24-hour stream." And then, first of all, why start now? It's bad enough to fall asleep on stream after you've been streaming for 5 or 6 hours or whatever in the middle of the night. That's bad enough. Why would you start a stream and immediately go to sleep? Why did he start a stream at 4 in the afternoon of him sleeping for 2? Like, that made no sense.
Yeah, for like the first couple hours.
Just a real disappointment here from our buddy Chess Hall. And I'm a Chess Hall supporter. I approve of Chess Hall, but the thing is, I'm a Georgia supporter too. But when they screw up, I call them out, and so and that's the thing, quit with all this. If you knew you were doing a 24-hour stream on Saturday, you should have took your ass to bed at a reasonable time Friday night, but you didn't. You stayed up all night Friday in these pointless hangouts that go on StreamYard where there's 9 people in there talking about nothing till 3 and 4 in the morning. Then you get up and do whatever you do all day Saturday. Then you start a 24-hour stream at 4 in the afternoon by sleeping for 2 hours. That's unacceptable.
Right.
That's very unacceptable. Then you delete that stream, you start another 24-hour stream, and you sleep for 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the night, and that's unacceptable. Then you give up on the 24-hour stream 15 hours into it. That's unacceptable. It's just a lot of things that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed in our boy Chess Hall.
Yeah. Got a lot of love for him though, but I mean, yeah, if I was gonna do a 24-hour stream, first off, I would make I would make sure that I got my computer and everything ready. I would make sure it's all one stream. I'm not gonna cut it off halfway or whatever. Now, if the stream messes up at first, start it, but make sure it's all one. I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm going to go to the store, probably, I don't know, get some Monster Energy drinks or something, keep myself awake, and actually do the stream. You know, I mean,
Well,
is it
yeah.
really,
And you need to have a
you know,
plan. I mean, I do 1 and 2 hour streams, and I have
yeah,
a plan for every stream. There's a reason and a point
there's a routine.
for every stream I do. If you're going to do a
Yeah.
24-hour stream, that really needs to be planned out. I mean, you can't just do a 24-hour stream yard and just lay in your bed with no shirt on for 24 hours doing nothing. I mean, have a plan. When I did my 24-hour stream, I had the whole thing mapped out ahead of time. This is what I'm going to do this for these hours. I had guests scheduled to come on at certain times, spread out through the 24 hours. And I actually stayed up and streamed for the entire 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what you have to do. That's just what you have to do. Pinecone, thank you for the super chat. He says, Nick Saban play pin the tail on the donkey. Okay. Bama Boy, thank you for the super chat. He says, Nick Saban is 22-0 against all of his children. Kirby Smart's undefeated against his former assistants, too. So I guess that's a big deal. I don't know. X-Wing Sports, thank you for the super chat. He says, Blake Barnett sucked at Bama. He was a 5-star. Well, see, it's one that it's
a big 5-star.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not pretending that there's no such thing as a 5-star bust.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that there's highly rated QBs that have ended up not panning out. Clearly there have been. But Blake Barnett was a 4-star. That's number one.
Okay.
And number two, when Blake Barnett didn't pan out, the next guy did. You didn't have 4 or 5 highly rated 4 and 5 stars who were all no good at the same time. That's what Kirby is trying to make us believe. Kirby is trying to make us believe that at the same time, Justin Fields, Carson Beck, JT Daniels, and DeJuan Mathis are all no good. That Stetson Bennett is the best of those 4. See, Blake Barnett hardly played for Alabama, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was.
I don't even think he ever even played. He never even played a whole season. Did he ever even start a game?
So here's what happened with Blake Barnett. Jalen Hurts, freshman year. You remember they played USC the first game. Jalen did not start that game. It was Blake Barnett. Now, I think that was after the season they won the national title with Jake Coker. So Blake Barnett takes a couple snaps against USC for the first drive. Jalen Hurts comes in behind him.
Yeah, Blake Barnett only ever played in 3 games for Alabama. That's it. He only ever attempted 19 passes in his career at Alabama.
Yeah, and then in 2016,
right. It's not like you know what he did? They trotted Blake Barnett out there, figured out he wasn't any good, and replaced him. Mm-hmm. Mind blown. The same thing you would do. Listen, if you trot a linebacker out on the field and he can't make a tackle, you take him out and you put the next guy in.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be any different with the quarterback.
Right.
Stetson Bennett's not any good. Now Alabama realized this with Blake Barnett. Now, like you said, now imagine they've got Jalen Hurts on the bench and they say, no, we're just going to stick with Blake Barnett. It is what it is. Jalen Hurts isn't any good. Imagine that. Imagine. So it's nowhere near the only way that's even remotely similar is that's an example of a highly rated QB who ended up not being very good. But there's a lot of highly rated QBs that end up not being very good. But never have there been 4 or 5 on the same team and they all were no good, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And we have proof of it. We have proof. Jacob Eason was benched at Georgia. Goes to Washington. Did he light the world on fire? No, but he didn't have anywhere near the talent at Washington that he would have had at Georgia either. But him and Fromm came out in the same draft. 32 NFL teams all agreed Eason better than Fromm. because not a single NFL team drafted from ahead of Eason. And you've got Justin Fields. You know, there are some Georgia fans who still think Justin Fields is no good, but it's not very many. It's not very many. I mean, Justin Fields is amazing, and that's obvious. So, you know, and I just, is it possible that Dwan Mathis, Carson Beck, and JT Daniels, all three, are no good and will never be any good no matter where they transfer to? That is possible. It's extremely unlikely. It's extremely unlikely that any three random highly rated QBs can be bad at the same time. It's extremely unlikely, especially when you look at the history of UJ over the last, since Kirby got there. It doesn't seem to matter who the quarterback. The best quarterback we've been able to put on the field since Kirby has been at UGA is a guy that can give you 2,800 yards total over the course of a year and 0 rushing yards. That's the best, according to Kirby Smart, that is the best quarterback Georgia has had in his 4 or 5 years at UGA, according to Kirby. Because this is, you know, I'm assuming Kirby plays who he thinks the best player is. Now, there's some people who don't think that's the case. There's some people who think he plays certain people for other reasons, and maybe. I'm giving Kirby the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying he thought that was the best person. That means Kirby is telling you he thinks Fromm is better than Fields. He thinks Stetson Bennett is better than JT Daniels. He thinks Stetson Bennett is better than Dwan Mathis. He thinks Stetson Bennett is better than Carson Beck. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Coach start a quarterback?
Huh?
Well, a coach is going to start a quarterback. Why? Well, because you think he's quarterback starting. Why do you start this guy over all the other guys? Because you think he's better than everybody else. Clearly, Kirby Smart, Jake Fromm was better than Easton, who I think is with like the Colts now, right? And I mean, fans obviously, like Georgia fans, don't see it that way, but Kirby, I don't know what it is with his quarterback knowledge that he just is. I don't know. I mean, I'm an Alabama fan, but I see what's happening in Athens, and I'm like, you still can't figure this quarterback thing out, you know? But
yeah, it's frustrating because even people that hate Georgia, even the trolls even, know how talented Georgia is because that's the whole joke, right? Yeah. It wouldn't be funny if Georgia was a terrible team and went 11-1 every year. Mm-hmm. That would be amazing. No one looks at Minnesota and laughs at them for last year, do they? No, because that was amazing that they won 11 games with what they have. That's the whole point, is that UGA is super talented. The most talented team in America, top to bottom on the roster. You know, according to 24/7 with the last 5 recruiting classes, the current roster, Georgia has the most available talent. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny that we're playing a walk-on QB who can't throw the ball 30 yards. You know, that's what makes it funny, is because we are so good, we are so talented, and look at the quarterback. You know,
right?
If we had South Carolina talent and went 11-1 last year, or 11-1 or 9-1 this year, and a 17-point loss to Alabama, that'd be whoever was that coach would be coach of the year.
Yeah.
It's only funny because Georgia is so good.
Yeah, they've established themselves as a premier program up and coming, and I still think Kirby Smart will win you guys a title at some point, but
yeah, I mean, there's not five. There's not five. First of all, I get it. Georgia lost this weekend. We're the butt of all the jokes. You know, we blew another lead. We choked again. I understand all that. I agree with all that. Forget about how good any teams are this one year. There aren't 5 programs in America better than the University of Georgia right now. There's not.
Yeah. It's not just
Georgia might be 5th, but there's not 5 that are in a better spot right now than Georgia. There's not. We recruit in the top 3 every single year. We win 11-plus games every single year. We've currently won our division 3 years in a row, played in the SEC title game 3 years in a row, won an SEC title, won a playoff game, played for a natty, loaded with talent right now, loaded with talent for the foreseeable future. We're in a recruiting hotbed in the state of Georgia. There's not 5 better programs in America. There's Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, maybe you say Oklahoma, and then there's Georgia. That's the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, if you want to say we're 5th, I won't argue with you, but there's not 5. In other words, if you were a head coach right now and you could take any job in America, Georgia is in your top 5. Recruiting hotbed, currently loaded with talent. They're a top 5 program right now, but they're not going to get over the hump with Fromm's and Stetson Bennett's. And I'm not saying JT Daniels equals a national title this year for Georgia. That's not what I'm saying. It's just sad that that's what we're down to. And, it's hard to understand how this can keep happening every year at the quarterback position. And even if you're not going to blame Georgia's losses over the last few years solely on the quarterback position, quarterback is the least talented starter group on our team every year. In other words, if you rated each position on our team, the starters, like the offensive line, what would you, out of a 1 through 10 talent level, they're an 8. Defensive line, their talent level is a 7. Linebackers, 8. Defensive backs, 8. Running backs, 8. Wide receivers, 7. Quarterback, 4. You know what I mean? Like when you look at even last year's team with Fromm, the running backs were more talented than the quarterbacks. The wide receivers were more talented. The offensive line was more talented. Quarterback's the weakest link on our team every single year, and it's just at some point, can we put somebody in there that can make some plays, And that's the thing about see, here's the thing. Stetson Bennett, turnovers are bad no matter who commits them, especially in big games. But if you're going to play a quarterback whose only upside is that he doesn't turn the ball over, well, when he does turn the ball over, there's nothing he can do to make up for that. Justin Fields is going to, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, those guys are going to throw some interceptions eventually. Mac Jones threw one on Saturday. He threw a couple, whatever. Yeah. But he's gonna make up for that somewhere. He's gonna fit a ball into a tight window 25 yards downfield somewhere at some point. He's gonna make a play for you. Georgia hasn't had a quarterback that can make a play for you since Aaron Murray. Georgia hasn't had a single quarterback that if you tell me you're down 7, there's a minute to go, you're on your own 10-yard line and you're playing a good defense, are you confident? We haven't had a quarterback I'd say yes to since Aaron Murray.
Yeah. And that was 2013 or whenever, right?
2013 was his last year. Even 2012 when he lost to Bama, he drove us all the way down the field. He drove us all the way down the field in the last minute of that game, completing pass after pass. And that was really on Mark Richt, that loss. We should have spiked the ball there, huddled and called a play. Instead, we tried to hurry up to the line and run a play, and no one knew what we were doing. We didn't even know what we were doing. Right. Aaron Murray wanted to spike the ball. You can go back and watch the play. Aaron Murray's running down to the 7-yard line or whatever it was. He looks over to the bench, and he's making the motion with his hand. Should I spike the ball? Should I spike the ball? And Rick goes, no, and signals in a play. And, the clock was ticking, time was running, and people got nervous and didn't know where to line up, didn't know what routes they were running. The ball gets tipped. The guy catches the ball when he should have just knocked it down, and game over.
Right.
But these quarterbacks we've had are frustrating. I mean, listen to this list of names, but Hudson Mason, Grayson Lambert, these people, these Bryce Ramsey, Fatan Bauta. I mean, nobody knows, these people. What do these people do? Nobody knows who these people are. Georgia's got great receivers, Bama, Mike. Now, Georgia. Now, some people will say wide receivers a weakness for UGA because you haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver, and receivers don't do this and they don't do that. That's a quarterback issue. I can't tell you how many 5-star receivers we've had. Terry Godwin, Miko Hardman, Demetrius Robertson, George Pickens.
Yeah.
There's two freshmen. But you got nobody that can get them the ball.
Yeah, I hate when they do that to like receivers. Oh, they don't have 1,000 yards this year. They haven't had 1,000 yards because the quarterback can't make the plays.
Right.
Because he just can't do it, and that's like looking at a running back. Well, he can't run the ball. Yeah, because our O line sucks, and we let defenders get to him in the back. You know what I mean? Like it's the players around these receivers or whoever, any position. It's all a team effort when it comes down to. And Georgia just has not figured it out with Kirby Smart
No.
and
as long as I live, and this keeps going on with Georgia, I'm going to keep pointing to that 2017 Georgia-Alabama game, and then the decision that Saban had to make heading into 2018. You had a quarterback that was in his second year as a starter, ton of experience, had lost a total of 2 games.
Yep.
And you yank him at halftime of a national title game and put in a true
no-name freshman.
A true
that
freshman.
Nobody really knew.
And then, not only that, you followed it up. You continued to have the balls in the guts. You started that guy the next year, despite what Jalen Hurts had done for you. Because in the end, winning matters and feelings don't.
Yeah.
Feelings do not get you a raise or an extension. Feelings get you fired. Mark Richt had feelings. Okay? Oh, well, Fromm was the starter in 17 and we went to the Natty game, so we can't bench him. Why? If you have somebody better, yes, you can bench him. The best man plays.
Yeah. Don't care what.
Jalen Hurts took Alabama to the Natty in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't prevent Nick Saban from putting his ass on the bench. Kelly Bryant at Clemson took him to the playoffs.
Could you imagine?
Didn't prevent Dabo Swinney from putting his ass on the bench, did it? Nope. Why? You had a better guy. You had somebody better to put in. That's what you do. That's what you do.
But Coach, I tell you that boo-hoo. Well, I make exchange.
Yeah.
Or do this or that. Boo-hoo. That's what I say, man. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what you did before. Look, when it comes to the game, like you brought up the UGA and Bama title and Tua came off the bench. I mean, look, Jalen Hurts, credit to him. He got us to 2 national titles and, only lost, I guess at that time it was 2 losses. The Iron Bowl and, of course, the year before lost to Clemson. But either way, like, he led Alabama to the Natty. Great, congratulations. But in that moment, in that game, he wasn't playing well, and Saban needed to make a call.
Yeah.
So put the pineapple in,
Yeah. I mean, that's going to go down as one of the ballsiest, gutsiest, and greatest head coaching moves of all time. Nick Saban having the stones to bench Hurts in the second half of that game. That's an all-time roll your nuts out to the 50-yard line and dare somebody to show you some any bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unreal.
Yeah. Then you got to give credit to Jalen Hurts for not transferring, and he comes and he could have. Dude, Jalen probably should have transferred in his junior year. Everybody knew as soon as 2nd and 26 happened. It's like, sorry, Jalen, but Tua's going to be the starter next year and everything. But Jalen Hurts, man, cared about the team. He stayed when people said he should leave and look and go play somewhere else. That took character and guts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you caught the very beginning of the show when I went on that 45-minute rant or whatever, but that was one of the points I made was in that 2018 year, Tua was the starter. Jalen Hurts could have pouted. He could have thrown the towel in and, only halfway given a shit for the whole year or whatever. But he didn't. He stayed involved. Why? Well, he played in the second half of every game. And by played, I mean actually played.
Like threw the ball.
Yes. I can't tell you how many 80-yard touchdown passes I saw Jalen Hurts throw in a third quarter of 40-point games. And people were saying, I can't believe Alabama would do that, run up the score. I said, he's a genius. He's a genius. He's keeping Jalen Hurts involved in the season because Tua, we already knew Tua was a little injury prone by this point. Mm-hmm. He's keeping Hurts involved. He's keeping him mentally plugged in, and he's keeping him sharp by giving him actual real game experience in the second half of all these games. And then what happened? 2017 SEC title game, Tua goes down. If Hurts had not played or been allowed to play like that, he wouldn't have performed as well in that SEC title game because he wouldn't have stayed as plugged in all year long. I mean, so that was another genius move by Saban and something that Kirby just hasn't learned yet. We send Matheson hand off.
He came back to become a better passer. I think now we saw it unfold in that SEC title, Jalen Hurts. If you look at the iron, like one snap, a really good block took off for a touchdown against Auburn, and but I mean, look, when it comes to quarterbacks, obviously, like we mentioned, the coach has got to make the right call for the team. You got to start, a guy feeling. I'm sorry. Why stop there? Deal with it. Suck it up, and you just got to start the better guy. Like we just got through talking about, Tua and Jalen and all that, and I don't. Oh well, I don't. I like this quarterback, and this guy's better, but I don't want to hurt his it. So what? You just got to do what you think is best for the team to help your team be successful. That's what it comes down to. Feelings or not.
Yeah. Well, Ballard, I'm going to have to end the show. It's after 10 o'clock. I appreciate you coming on today, especially with BVD being out. I was glad you were able to come on. Congratulations again on y'all's win this past weekend. Good luck the rest of the way. It'll either be us or Florida. You'll see in the SEC title game. So good luck to you the rest of the way, and I'll be watching.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on. I should probably get ready for work soon. So.
All right, Ballard. Well, take it easy. We'll talk to you next time, buddy.
All right, thanks.
All right,
well
bye. Alabama fan Ballard. You guys can find his channel, Ballard Sports Media. Ballard Sports Media, Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. Appreciate him coming on. We're going to wrap the show up for today. George is off this week, which is good. We'll see if Kirby takes advantage of it or not. His job is on the line as far as I'm concerned. Brandon Pratt, thank you for supporting the show through the Super Chat today. Slim Shady, Definition 409, Tiny Tonto, Kentucky Productions. Slim Shady, HJB, Anthony Tillery, Jared Guyton, Definition 409, Waikiki, Bama Mike, Bama Boy, Lost Aggie, Hurricane T2Y, Bama Boy, X-Wing Sports. Appreciate you guys supporting the live show, supporting the channel, supporting what it is I'm trying to do here, provide a college football community for us to all hang out in, talk football. We do this year-round. So don't forget about the rest of the live shows. I think you all know the schedule by now. I'll put it up. That's part of the schedule. But we do this show Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 a.m., Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. is the call-in show. And then I have the Lunch Money Show with Pigskin Pete, Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, where we talk about sports betting. Talk about the spreads and the lines and the odds for all the games every week. Find me there. And, of course, all the uploaded videos go to the main channel, Uncle Lou. I'm sure you're all subscribed over there. If you're not, just do a search for Uncle Lou. You'll find it. Today is Top 10 Day, so I'll be putting out my updated Top 10 today. I don't know what I'm going to do with Georgia. Everybody else still has them at 4. I want to put them lower than 4, but it's hard to decide. If you don't put Georgia at 4, who do you put ahead of them? It's hard to decide. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up happening. All I know for sure is it'll be. I don't know who will be one either. I probably Alabama. I'll probably put Alabama one this week. Clemson destroyed Georgia Tech, and that's all you can do. I mean, what do you I don't want to hear anything about who have they played. If you can't watch Clemson and tell they're a great team, something's wrong with you. Doesn't matter who a team plays, just watch them play. But you guys know I move teams around in my poll based on how they do week to week, and regardless of what you think about Clemson or Bama, beating Georgia is more impressive than beating Georgia Tech. So I'll probably have Bama at 1 this week and Clemson at 2. But it doesn't matter. I don't know who's better between those two teams. Those are clearly the two best, though. I don't know who's better between the two of them. I move them around. I swap them 1 to 2 almost every week based on who had the better win. I don't know. I can't think of a more fair way to do it. 3, I mean, Notre Dame 3. Does anybody think they're the third best team? But again, if it's not Notre Dame, then who are you going to put there? 12-7, they beat Louisville. But so who do you put at 3 then? Oklahoma State, Florida, Texas A&M, Cincinnati. I mean, if you're ranking Ohio State, I think you should have Ohio State at 3. But I'm going to wait until next week after the Big Ten plays a game before I rank them. But unless Ohio State loses, they're going to be third in my poll next week. It's going to be Alabama and Clemson 1 and 2 in some order, and then Ohio State's going to be third. I mean, unless they lose to Nebraska. But I don't expect that to happen. I think they'll beat Nebraska by 40. Don't you? Big Ten ain't no good. Okay, well, but just please watch some football. That's all I'm saying. The Big Ten's pretty good. Ohio State is really good. Just come on with that. Anyway, appreciate all of you tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Do it all over again. Top 10 video this afternoon on the main channel. Big shout out to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Had a good time. I'll see you again real soon.